So I have two zones I'll be looking at for a buy. One will be there and one will be here. 2652.539 area would be a good place to buy from. All right, but for me, I would like this lower one here, which is 2645.593. But if you choose to enter here, then guys, your stop loss has to be below this line below here. Last 2 weeks on gold, I predicted this bullish move from this zone. You can go rewatch that video. Week 15 to 19, I predicted all this bullish move. You can go rewatch that video. And last week, I actually was hoping that price would pull back into this 2685.9 area, but price is still ranging. So are we going to come back for that pullback, or we are just going to continue higher here? So it's a tricky one. What we're going to do, let me delete this arrow by the way. So what we are going to do is I'm going to box two zones. I'm going to box this zone in, and I'm also going to box the top of this in. All right, price on gold is super bullish. There is absolutely no doubt about that. All right, so what's going to happen is if we are still going to come for the pullback as predicted last week, then price has to break below 2713.880 area before we make our way down here. But with this current impulsive move to the upside, we are definitely going to test 2758.950 area. So when we get to that area, two things may most likely happen. We may bounce off that zone, right, before we come for our pullback, before we take off again. That's scenario one. Or we could also break above 2758, because obviously price is super bullish, so that may most likely happen also. But I'm telling you how to enter it, so you need to be patient. If you are not already in this trade yet, you need to be patient for this to play out. All right, this is what I come to tell you week in, week out. So you want to catch it on the pullback, then you go for whatever R&R you're looking for on that trade. For me, I like 2 to 1 most of the time. But if we're definitely going to come into this pullback within 2685 and 2678 area, price must most definitely break below 2713.880 for that to happen, right? So I'll advise, if you've not been in this buy from the bottom here to the top, then what I'll advise is, hey, wait for this break and retest to buy, or wait for the break and retest below here to sell into the pullback area. All right, because I'm expecting a super bullish move from this zone to the upside. All right, so that is my view on gold. We are just going to approach this with some probabilities. So we are looking at the buy and selling scenario, so you can map out the zones on your charts to keep tabs on them. So the next on my list is DXY. Now, DXY, technically speaking, we are supposed to be bouncing off of this zone, which is between 104.290 and 104.036. Technically, that is what is supposed to be happening. I mean, look at when price bounced here, created a new lower low, go back. It's supposed to at least go for a pullback before we continue higher. But the way price is right now, it is too bullish to be selling this. Too bullish to be selling this. All right. Even though we are yet to successfully break and close above 104.290, which is this upper red line here. If we had broken and closed above it, then my next target would have been this trend line up above here. All right, but we are still trading at that zone, so anything can happen. We can go for a pullback from there, because going into next month, I'm actually expecting a bullish dollar. I'm actually expecting a bullish dollar, because if we go to the monthly time frame, you will notice that this current month is super bullish, massive bullish engulfing candle. You can tell by the size of it, right? So let's go back to the weekly time frame. So we may go for a mini pullback next week, all right, from this zone. Okay, but that still doesn't change the fact that I won't give a bullish and bearish scenario when we go to EURUSD and GBPUSD, because of course on Euro and GBPUSD price is super bearish, right? So it is not wise technically to be buying it, all right? But however, if we're going to go for a pullback, you don't want to miss out on that opportunity. So I will still give the selling and buying scenario on EURUSD and GBPUSD, including USD JPY. So stay to the end of this video to see that. So next on my list is EURUSD. Meanwhile, if you missed out on last week's video that I posted, which is at the top right corner of your screen right now. You want to go and watch it, because analysis is one thing, execution is another thing. You can analyze all you want, but do you know how to execute in the markets through winners and losers? Can you do that and still stay consistently profitable, right? So you may want to watch that video. Go click that video and watch it after this analysis. All right, so just like DXY, you can see that EURUSD on the same weekly time frame is trading at a key level, which is this trend line right here. Let me delete this line. So this trend line right here, you can see multiple touches. Now price is sitting comfortably on that trend line. DXY is on a key level. EURUSD is also on a key level. That's interesting, right? But price is too bearish to be buying it also. But I'm going to be showing you how to take advantage of both the buying and the selling scenario. So this is the daily time frame, by the way, guys, and you can see, just like on the weekly time frame, you can see the rejection when price came into that weekly trend line. You can see the rejection to the upside. So I'll go to the 4-hour time frame now. So guys, if we're going to go for a pullback, remember DXY is at a resistance level. Let me even show you what I'm talking about. Let me go back to the weekly time frame and show you why DXY is interesting. Let me go to the weekly time frame on DXY, by the way. So I will show you that this zone has been respected multiple times historically. Look at the reaction of price at these zones historically. This is the weekly time frame. This is the weekly time frame, right? And now price is trading there. So I won't be surprised if I see a pullback going into next week, right? But still, it's too early because price may be actually going for this trend line here. That's also possible. So don't want to rule out those scenarios. So let's go back to EURUSD and go to the 4-hour time frame. So if we are going to sell a little bit on DXY, that means EURUSD is going to buy, right? So if EURUSD is going to buy, then I think you should wait for price to break above 1.08376. all right, and it's going to be a short buy because going into next month I'm expecting a massive sell on EURUSD. all right, I'll come here week in week out to give you my projection for the incoming week. So if we're going to go for that pullback, then wait for price to break above 1.08376 area. Then you want to switch over to the 15 minutes time frame to catch it on the pullback. Then your next target should be around here, which is 1.08962. Why is that area my area of interest? Is because if you look left, it has been tested multiple times historically, right? So that's why any pullback, that will be the zone I'll be looking for price to come into. All right, but don't forget, price is super bearish right now, so price may just continue bearish next week. That is if DXY is targeting that weekly trend line up above. You can rewind a bit, I showed you that on the weekly time frame. So if that is the case, if price is going to continue bearish, except if you've been holding the sell, you can keep holding actually, because that's the best thing to do right now. You can keep holding the sell. But if you are not in the sell and you are just looking for a fresh opportunity going into next week, then wait for price to break below this zone. All right, create a new lower low, go back for the pullback. Then my next target will be 1.06523. Let me draw a zone so that I'll show you what I'm talking about. So wait for price to create a new lower low below this area here. All right, let me even put a line there so that we can know the price level. So if price breaks below, where's my arrow? So if price breaks below that 1.07623 area, you want to catch it on the pullback on the 15 minutes time frame. Then your next target, because the market is super bearish, so the bearish side is going to be longer. So your bearish target should be 1.06523. all right, so I've just given you a bullish and bearish scenario. Wait for price to break out of either of this zone if you are not in the bearish move yet, to either buy or sell. All right, so the next on my list is GBP USD. So on GBP USD, just like EURUSD, you can see that on the weekly time frame, price is sitting on a trend line. Also, DXY is at a key level, EURUSD is at a key level, GBP USD is at a key level also, right? But I'm still going to give you bullish and bearish scenarios on this. Let's even go to the daily time frame. So on the daily time frame, we can see that trend line properly. You can see the first touch, significant rejection, second touch, significant rejection, third touch, are we going to get another significant rejection? Well, how do we take advantage of that? I'm going to be showing you. I'm going to be giving you a bullish and bearish scenario on this likewise. All right, so on the 4-hour time frame, if we're going to go for a pullback, right, which is risky, right? But if we're going to go for a pullback, at least you need to be patient for price to break above this upper trend line. All right, break above this upper trend line. Then you want to switch over to a much lower time frame, like the 15 minutes or 30 minutes time frame, to catch an entry with your stop loss below. Then your target should be around here. All right, which is 1.3097. all right, that is if price is really respecting the third touch of the trend line. All right, but the market is super bearish, so if price continues lower, where do we get in? That is if you've not been in the sell from the upside. So if you're looking for a fresh trading opportunity next week, a bearish fresh trading opportunity next week, actually, ideally, you can even sell like this. All right, you can, but you know, I'm more conservative, so because of that, I would like to see a new lower low created. But you can, it completely makes sense to sell here and put your stop loss above here, because the dominant trend at the moment is bearish, so there's nothing absolutely wrong in that. All right, but price may want to pull back because on a much higher time frame, price is sitting comfortably on a major level. DXY is also at a major resistance level. So since the dominant trend is bearish, you could do that. But for a conservative approach, so let's wait for price to break below that weekly trend line, right? Weekly or daily trend line. Let's wait for price to break below it. This is the trend line I already showed you from the higher time frame. So let's wait for price to break below it. Then we now go to the 15 minutes time frame. All right, once price breaks below it and goes back for the retest, you want to go to the 15 minutes time frame. You want to now trade into the next target, which is around here, which is 1.28520. all right, so that's a much conservative approach. It's actually a good distance above how many pip move to the downside, about 56.4 pip move to the downside. So your stop loss can be above, then you use here as your target. So that is my bullish and bearish scenario on GBP USD. So the next on my list is USD JPY. So USD JPY has broken above our overall target. If you've been following my videos for weeks now, you know that my overall target on USD JPY has been 151.394. all right, you can go back in time and rewatch all those videos. It's all there. So now that price has broken out of it, you can see how price has retested it, guys. The dominant trend is bullish, right? So except if you've been holding from the bottom here, you can trail your profit, right? So even if price breaks below here, should price decide to go for a pullback, at least you'll be stopped out in profit. And if you decide to buy from here, I don't think you're doing anything wrong technically, right? You're following the trend, which you should be doing. So price has broken, price has retested, it looks good to go. All right, I don't trade USD JPY. You could put your stop loss below this 151.394, and your next target will be, let me put a line there. Your next target will be 154.745. But because USD is at a resistance level, we may go for a pullback. All right, so if you're willing to take a loss here, then make it back here, then you could do that. All right, just make sure that your risk management is on point, because this actually looks good to go. Remember, I hesitated on EURUSD a couple of weeks ago. If you've actually been following my videos, when price was going down, price broke below its zone, and I was like, I'm skeptical price may go for a pullback before it drops off. And I also mentioned in that video that the best thing to do is just to trade in that direction. If you're trading in that direction, you are doing absolutely nothing wrong. And the next week, price just blasted further below, right? So the same thing is what I'm seeing here. So price may just kick in next week and just continue higher. All right, so I don't want to rule that out, but if price goes, this is the first plan A. Plan A is this looks good to go. This looks good for a buy with your stop loss below 151.394. all right, but if price breaks below, let's say you go into next week and price breaks below 151.394 significantly, then you want to catch it on the pullback on a much lower time frame, like 15 or 30 minutes time frame, then trade into 149.228 before we take off again, because going into next month I still expect a super bullish USD JPY. I'm going to do a proper analysis on that next weekend. All right, so make sure you're subscribed and tune in to that. So that will be all for this week, guys. But before you go, if you are not yet in our Telegram group, please do so, because last week we held a very informative live session. So if you are not there, you will not be able to ask your questions. Of course, the recordings was posted on Thursday last week, and now going into next week, I'm going to be posting a new topic for the week. All right, so I'm going to do this before our next mentorship program kicks in, which is next month 11th. So if you're not in that Telegram group, please, the link is going to be in the description and in the comment section down below. Make sure you click and join. And thanks for staying to the end of this video. If you are not yet subscribed, do so now. Like this video and also share to like minds, and I will see you in the next video. Bye, guys.